This episode of the SuperHypeGaming podcast is brought to you by Moonshoes. It came to my attention that the company behind Moonshoes recently went out of business, and I spent a lot of money paying for this company so that I could have someone to sponsor the podcast this week because nobody was coming to me this week with sponsor requests. So I paid a lot of money for Moonshoes, so please go buy some Moonshoes. Or I might go out of business if you don't. So please. Welcome. This is episode 8 of the Super Hype Gaming podcast. I am your host, Michael Flanagan, and this week I am joined by resident Decadent Dandy Luke, aka Bluechromed. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. Decadent Dandy. I haven't gotten that one before.
Yeah,
I like it, Michael.
I think it suits you. Luke, today I went to Kroger in sweatpants and flip-flops, and I feel like I've just completely given up.
Oh, no. When was the last time you had Degenerate Night?
Ooh, fucking Degenerate Night. So for those that don't know, fucking Degenerate Night is something, a term that I coined for mostly like Friday nights at like 2 a.m. when I decide to go to Taco Bell and get a number 10 with a Kickstart. The Kickstart helps me stay up till like 4 a.m. And I call it fucking Degenerate Night because it's just me eating Taco Bell at some obscene time of the day, and like getting a Kickstart so I can stay up even longer. It's been a while. It has not been a while. Good. It has not been a while since I've had Taco Bell, but it's been a while since an official, fucking Degenerate Night. I did go back, October, the month of October definitely took a toll. It took a toll on me. Yeah. Just had a lot of stuff going on. I did Spooky Hype Gaming and streamed like almost every single day that I could. Had that work trip that I went on for a week in California. And so I was definitely exhausted. I did not have a lot of time to work out, and my body was feeling a little gelatinous. And so
get the pudge.
I was definitely getting the pudge. I was getting the breadloaf abs. No, not even breadloaf abs. Like breadloaf abs is when I'm like fit. Is when I had the breadloaf abs. This was just like
it's your natural appearance, the breadloaf.
Yeah. This was just like pure pudge. But this week I did go back. I finally have gone back to the gym.
Good for you.
And I feel good.
You look good.
Thank you.
I'm watching right now.
Yes, I know. I'm currently staring at my window. I'm in a new setup. I'm just sitting in a different chair at my dining room table.
Mm-hmm. Entirely new setup.
Yeah, it's an entirely new setup.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the window and I can see you peeking in.
Yep. Hey,
it's a little weird because basically what I do is I leave my porch, like my porch fucking door has a window on it like doors do sometimes. Yeah. And I leave the curtains up just a little bit, just to like the first square of the window.
Okay.
Mostly so that Dusty can look out and have a window to look out and stuff. And so I see you laying down on my porch, staring in through that window. It's okay. Time. Yeah, your computer's just set up there too. Your mic's there. Yep. It's great.
I've got a mobile setup specifically to stalk Michael Flanagan, from Alabama.
From Alabama.
Yeah, there's 2 Michael Flanagans, right?
I'm sure there's several Michael Flanagans.
I think I'm at the wrong Michael's house right now.
I'm pretty sure like Michael Flanagan is not an uncommon name.
Oh yeah. Dime a dozen.
But how you been doing, my friend? How have you been doing? What have you been up to? What have you been playing?
This week was weird. This week was really weird. So, that I was going to play Crypt of the Necrodancer and a bunch of other stuff, and not a single one of those games happened.
I was really looking forward to that, too.
I know, yeah. Last Sunday, 1 week from today, I was playing Let's Go Eevee, and in that game, if you get all of the Pokemon, you get something called a Shiny Charm. Mm-hmm. And that makes it significantly easier to shiny hunt Pokemon in that game.
I want to get that item, but you refuse to trade Pokemon with me, so...
Michael, I will trade you anytime you want. I have got so many Pokemon. I helped Danny get hers, Pip Girl.
Yeah.
So she's got hers now. She's shiny hunting. And I did a single stream of it just to try out shiny hunting, see how it was. I had so much fun that's all I've done this week. Like, even off stream, I'll just be shiny hunting. And I now, last Sunday, I had 0 out of 150 shinies, because you can only get the first 150 Pokemon. And as of today, I have 36.
Holy shit.
In 1 week. Yeah.
That shiny charm, or that shiny bracelet, or whatever it's called, really does make a difference there, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And there are some other strategies that are important. Like, you need to use lures, which are basically the opposite of repels. They're unique to the Let's Go games, but they basically make more Pokemon pop up. And that also increases your shiny chance. And then there's this thing called catch combos, where as you progressively catch the same Pokemon over and over again without them running away, you have a higher probability of all Pokemon being shiny. So I think that, like, the highest breakpoint, which is what I always go for, is 31. So if you catch 31 of the same Pokemon, all Pokemon in the game have a significantly higher chance to be caught. So I think with all things included, assuming you have the catch combo, the charm, and the lure, it goes from being like a 1 in 4,096 chance to like 1 in 273.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's like, you're pretty much, not guaranteed, but you're probably going to find a shiny if you spend, any amount of time looking for it.
And it's been faster than I thought. Like, it's like 2 hours for a shiny.
Yeah.
Today on stream I got two shinies in under 2 hours.
Wow. Those streams are pretty popular too, I think, because I know Grookey does a lot of those, doesn't he? With the shiny hunting. Yeah,
they can be popular. I'm not like super great at it, and I don't really necessarily have a huge Pokemon following, because I'm more of a variety streamer. But yeah, they definitely get good numbers, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely like, I'm craving Crash Bandicoot though. Like, even on stream today, I was like, if we catch the shiny before I get on that podcast, I'm gonna play some Crash Bandicoot.
Wow.
Didn't happen, but
wow, yeah.
But gonna be playing some Crash Bandicoot soon for sure.
Are you gonna be playing just the remastered trilogy again? Didn't you play those on stream?
I did. Yeah, I've actually played them a couple times on stream. But it's one of those games I could probably play every 3 to 4 months, 100%, and not get bored, because I just love it.
Yeah, right? I feel that. That's how I feel about Dark Souls 2. It's like, I really want to do another. I really want to do another drunk Dark Souls 2.
Oh, dude, that would be so great.
I was thinking about doing like drinks for Estus. Like, every time I take a sip of Estus, I have to take a shot. I think that'd be really fun.
Okay, no, you can't do, dude. If you do that, you are dead.
Well,
you
no,
need to do
like
a power hour, hour where you take a sip.
Nah, dude, I gotta get fucked up. It's not fun unless I'm fucked up.
You can have like 90 shots.
Nobody's gonna tune in unless the risk of me dying on stream is high.
No, Michael, please.
I feel like it'd be fun. I feel like it'd be a challenge stream, because it'd be like me trying to avoid getting hit, and it'd be interesting because Dark Souls 2 has items called life gems that you can use to restore health, and so basically, like, what I'm imagining is that, like, life gems would be banned in this run, and so I'd have to be like really careful with my positioning and stuff. This is like the kind of stuff that I have to do in Dark Souls 2 to make it like interesting.
Because you're good at it.
Yeah, but like, the thing with Dark Souls 2 is that it's a game that facilitates that. It's a game that you can play in many different ways. So that was fun. I just saw that Craig came back online. So I have a Discord bot.
Craig.
I have a Discord bot for all those listening. This is interesting behind the scenes. I have a Discord bot that I use to record guests in Discord for the podcast, and it was offline when me and Luke tried to start recording, and so now we're just recording both of our audio in Audacity. I normally record mine anyways, but we just started like 10 minutes ago, and I just saw that he came back online, so that's great.
Thanks, Craig.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. So yeah, that's good. So you also played Luigi's Mansion 3, correct?
Yeah, played all 17 hours of the main story in 2 days.
Wow. How many hours?
It was 17 hours in 2 days.
That's a lot. That's long. I was not expecting that game to be that long.
Well, and that's also just the story, non-completionist. So there are several. Oh, and that was also, it was actually a faster run because Pip Curl hopped in about 5 hours in and helped me do multiplayer throughout the game.
Ooh.
So it's even longer if you play solo.
So can you play the whole game, like the whole story mode with co-op?
Yes, and I highly recommend it. Like the game is phenomenal either way, but as soon as Pip Girl started playing with me, it was like 10 times more fun. Because a lot of the puzzles, pretty much all of the puzzles in the game require you to use both Luigi and Gooigi. And in single player, you have to switch between them. And that can cause some frustration because sometimes you're having to actively do something with both, and it's difficult by yourself. So once you add in that second person, you can still have fun figuring out the puzzles together and all of that, but you lose that frustration piece of like having to try to manage both characters. So I guess it kind of depends on if you want more of a challenge, right?
Okay. That's interesting. I'm going to be honest, this is going to be an impressions-heavy podcast today. There's not a lot of news items. However, I have some Death Stranding impressions, and I want you to hit me with those Luigi's Mansion 3 impressions.
Sure.
So we're going to get into that. Before we get too deep into that, I have a game. You know I like games.
Oh, gosh.
So we're going to play...
Say, not SAT prep, right?
SAT prep is coming. It's coming after the game, though. Because I don't want you to do the SAT...
chipped.
I don't want you to do the SAT prep during the game, right? So that's going to come after the game. Look forward to SAT prep. But just to get things like loose and fun,
Okay.
we're going to play a little game. This is a game that I call Rate Me Daddy.
Oh, Rate Me Daddy.
Yeah, I got to pronounce.
My God.
I got to pronunciate that. I have to really pronunciate that very, very carefully. That's Rate Me Daddy. Rate Me Daddy. So,
Wow.
as we all know, there is a company called the ESRB, the Entertainment Software Rating Board, and they rate all of our games. They give it a rating, E plus, or E10, M, T for teen. And they also add little descriptors. If you look at the back of the box and you see that little ESRB box, there's all these...
Fantasy, blood, and violence.
Yeah, there's all these descriptors that kind of explain why it got that rating. So, for Rate Me Daddy, I have a list of both real and fake ESRB descriptors.
Okay.
And I'm going to read them to you, and it's going to be your job to tell me if you think they're real or if they're not.
I love that.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. Comic Mischief.
Real.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Definitely real. Like Comic Mischief, that's like, that would be like Conker's Bad Fur Day. Comic Mischief. There you go.
Yep. Like, yeah, pretty much. I feel like Comic Mischief is on like every game sometimes.
Fair. Yeah.
Animal Cruelty.
Fake.
Yes.
There's no way that's a real one.
Use of drugs.
Use of drugs. I mean, there are a lot of ratings that have drugs in the name, but I don't think use of drugs is a real one. I think that's fake.
Use of drugs is real.
Okay, interesting.
There's a lot of... I don't know if I should
Like,
tell you this now or after the game, but there's definitely a lot of like redundancies in some of these.
Okay, gotcha. Because I know there's like cartoon, like fantasy drug use.
Fantasy drug use, yep.
Fantasy drug use.
Gotta use all those fantasy drugs.
Right.
The spices.
My flume popples. Flume popples.
Mm-hmm.
Snort those up. Shoot them.
Okay, we're gonna keep going. I'm not gonna tell you what I was gonna tell you until after the game.
Thanks a lot.
So wait, shit. So you got Comic Mischief. I need to keep score here. So you got one. I think you got Animal Cruelty, and then you didn't get Use of Drugs. You said that was fake, but it's real. Okay.
Yep.
So you have 2 points.
Okay.
Real gambling.
What is it?
Real gambling.
Real gambling?
Mm-hmm.
Fake. No way.
Nope, that one's real.
Is it? It's actually called real gambling.
It's actually called real gambling, yeah.
What?
I imagine there's very little games that use this, but this is
real gambling.
This is for your FIFAs.
Oh my gosh, all the loot boxes. That's really funny. Real gambling. Real gambling and drug use.
Sodomy.
What is this game and where can I get it? Sodomy? Fake. Come on, Michael. That one's obvious. Get out of here.
Why? I mean, that could be a real descriptor.
No, that is like the worst. Come on, that is so fake, Michael. Get out.
I think, okay, it's fake.
Sodomy?
But the only reason it's fake is because the video game has never been made with sodomy featured in it. And so.
Doubtful. I guarantee you there's some sodomy games out there.
Not ones that have been rated by the ESRB.
True. Okay. I'll concede on that point.
Pornographic imagery.
True. Real.
Nope. That one's fake.
No?
Yep.
Oh, man. Wow. I know nudity is one.
Mm-hmm.
Pornographic imagery.
Fantasy violence.
Okay, yes. That's definitely real.
Yep.
Yeah. Easy.
Cartoon violence.
Also real.
Mm-hmm.
Those are on like every single game, like you said. Cartoon mischief.
Sexual violence.
Sexual violence? Oh, ooh. Oh, that's actually dude, if you made that one up, that's a really good one to make up because it sounds real, but I'm going to say fake.
Nope, that one's real.
Oh my gosh, it sounds so real. I thought you made that one up. Oh, jeez. That's intense.
Intense violence.
Intense violence. Oh man, dude, this game's getting harder. You like started with the easy ones.
Yep.
Intense violence. Oh gosh. Okay, this one's real.
Yep, that one is real.
Okay, good.
Violence.
Just violence.
Just violence.
False. Fake.
Nope, that one's real as well.
Oh no. Oh, I just gotta assume they're all real. There you go. Except for sodomy. That was terrible, Michael. You can do better than that.
Environmental violence.
Fake.
Yeah, that one is fake, damn it.
Yeah, Michael, come on. All of the ones that you make are bad.
I wanted to trip you up with that one. I thought for sure. I thought I could lead you into saying that one was
all
real.
All the ones that you make are terrible.
Playful havoc.
Oh. Actually, if you made this one, this is a good one. I'm going to say it's real.
Nope, that one is fake.
You got me.
I've gotten you a couple times. I got you with which one did I get you with?
None of them.
I got you with pornographic imagery.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I definitely
what was it? Pornographic what?
Pornographic imagery.
You did get me with that one. Okay, I take it back. So
all right,
these are pretty good.
I got a couple more.
Okay. Okay.
Suggestive themes.
That one's real.
Uh-huh.
I've seen that one.
Sexual themes.
Sexual themes?
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that one's real too.
Mm-hmm. Depressing themes.
Only if you were the raider. So fake.
Damn it. Okay. All right, last one.
Okay.
Animated blood.
Animated blood. I'm pretty sure this one's real.
Damn it. Yep, that one's real.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
How did I do? How many points do I have?
Bluechromed you had. Let's see. I'm going to count how many options there were here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You had 18 options.
Okay.
You got 5, 6, 7, 12. You got 12 out of 18. So not bad.
Good. I'll take a not bad. If you were to give me this on like a ranking scale, would you say this was S rank? How did I do?
I would say that this is A rank.
A rank, nice.
This is A rank. Yeah.
Good.
So that was Rate Me Daddy. That'll possibly come back one day.
I really like that one. Not gonna lie, that's a good bit.
Yeah, I really like that game too. Okay, So now, before we get into the impressions, I'm going to give you your SAT prep word for the podcast. Are you ready?
Oh, hold on. Okay, I am ready. But last time I was on, I got penalized for using it 3 times. I'm pretty sure that was just out of spite because you never mentioned that rule.
I mean, here's the thing about SAT prep is if you stick to the rules, you'll succeed. It's that simple.
I did stick to the rules.
If you
made up a new rule, Michael.
If you stick to the rules, you will win SAT prep, and if you don't stick to the rules, then you'll lose, and you'll have to read. So SAT prep works this way. So I'm going to give you a word, a vocab word, and throughout the course of the podcast, you're going to have to use that word convincingly. Mm-hmm. And if you use it convincingly, then you get points. If you use it unconvincingly, if you forget to use it, if you use it incorrectly, you will lose. And if you lose, we will close the podcast on you reading a random hokey video game quote. So I get all of my video game quotes from randomvgquotes.com. So it is completely random, nice. the quotes that I give you. So, without further ado, your SAT prep for today is superfluous.
Oh, okay. Superfluous. Okay, sounds good. Superfluous.
Yeah, stick to the rules and you'll be fine. Okay, impressions time. So hit me with what you think of Luigi's Mansion 3. I really want to know.
Sure. Do you want me to kind of start from the top?
You can start from wherever you like.
Great. So Luigi's Mansion 3, pretty long-awaited game in a series that has been dragged out over many, many years. The first one came out in, 2001?
Yeah, GameCube game.
Yep, launched with the GameCube. Really, really interesting concept. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Luigi's Mansion, the basic gist is that Luigi finally has his own game all about him, and it's finally his turn to go save Mario and Princess Peach and all of them who have been captured by King Boo and stored in a painting in a haunted mansion. So Luigi has to go through this whole ordeal with this vacuum given to him by a secretive scientist known as EGAD, as he sucks up ghosts and makes his way to King Boo to save his brother and friends. It's also funny because it added a lot of lore and context to kind of Luigi as a character.
Did it add lore? What lore did it add?
So I think the thing that it added, the biggest thing was the characterization of Luigi. So Luigi was never really portrayed as a scaredy cat.
Okay.
As like part of his being until this game. And now that's kind of like his persona, right? So, Luigi's always got that like, oh, he's scared of everything. He's a baby. Even though he's the bigger brother, he's a baby, right? Mm-hmm. So, I think that's kind of the way they twisted it, which is weird, right? Because he's supposed to be a hero, but it was a funny way to approach a character who's afraid of anything, but still is able to get to the end and be the hero.
I think it was a good take on like the player 2 character, right? Because Luigi is just like player 2, right? He's just player 2 Mario, and so it definitely like, added an interesting characteristic and made him kind of more than just player 2, but also kept him like, it made him more than just player 2, but also kept him in that kind of shit tier. Like you'll never be as you'll never be as good as Mario. You're never gonna be like jumping around and collecting moons, Luigi. You're just gonna be this scared little bitch fighting ghosts and stuff.
Yes, that's extremely accurate. Yeah, that's kind of where they shoehorned him in, and I think it's just perfect because it's so comedic. Like the whole game is comedic because it's basically like Luigi is literally terrible at everything. He's scared of everything, and yet he has to do this to save his brother, which is just like the best way to narrate a story from a Nintendo perspective.
Yeah,
because it kind of came out of nowhere. And then I never played the second game, but that was a game on the DS or the 3DS.
3DS, Dark Moon.
3DS. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Never played it, but
yeah, and I think like it's more mission based. So you go down on missions and complete them. The first game is more like explore what you want. There are hidden secrets, and the ghosts are very like humanoid and humanistic. Luigi's Mansion 3, I think, kind of takes some of the best parts of both and really builds off of it. So in Luigi's Mansion 3, you're going, you like win you ever get those spam calls where they're like, you just won a vacation?
Yeah.
Well, they were smart enough and intelligent enough to accept one of these, and go cash in their hotel.
I've seen that like intro video where they're all on the bus, and like Mario and Peach are like, "Where's it gonna fuck?" It's like,
it's true.
They're totally like, "We're gonna have sex in this hotel room," and Luigi's just there with his ghost dog. It's cute.
I know, it's super kawaii. It's mega cute for sure. I love that. We're gonna do it. So they get there, and turns out it's a trap from the hotel owner, who is a ghost, who's like has this very weird, like creepy obsession and love for King Boo. So she like went out of her way to. I'm gonna give story spoilers.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so she like goes out of her way to release King Boo from his trap from the previous games, and to serve him by capturing all of his greatest foes, which are Mario, Peach, Toad, and Luigi. Well, she successfully captures all of them except for Luigi, and then, the gist of the game is her and her minions are going after him as he explores this castle. Or not castle, but the mansion and the hotel. And the way you work towards getting to her is by collecting. You basically have to take an elevator. So Luigi finds the elevator. He's like, "Oh yes, I can go save my brother." And he then realizes that all of the buttons in the elevator have gone missing. So you basically go floor to floor beating bosses.
Shit!
Oh no! What the hell?
Shit's a fucking busted. They made this just because it's a fucking video game.
I'm a carpenter. I don't know this stuff.
Isn't he a plumber?
He's a plumber. A plumber, carpenter, a little bit of both.
Is Luigi a carpenter? Is Mario the plumber and Luigi's a carpenter? Do you think?
I don't know what Luigi is. I don't know what. Luigi's like a stay-at-home brother.
Okay, yeah.
He has his ghost dog. And that's all he needs.
What's the dog? It doesn't have a cute name, the dog.
I don't know. I think that's from the second game, but it is really cute. It is really cute.
You can pet the dog in this game. Mm-hmm. I know that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And the dog actually pops up throughout the story to help you find things and like go after stuff. So you like solve puzzles, you interact with all these scary ghosts, and you gain elevator buttons to make it to the top to confront the hotel owner as well as King Boo in the final battle. But there's a lot of depth to it. I will say, so that you have that multiplayer concept, so you can play single player, which you still have to use both Luigi and a new character, Gooigi, which is a copy of Luigi except made of goo, to solve different kinds of puzzles together. Multiplayer is great because you don't have to try to split your brain into two, and you can work together to solve these puzzles. But one thing I really loved was the boss design. So when you think of Luigi's Mansion, like the bosses were really cool in one, but when you think about Luigi's Mansion, you don't think, man, the boss design was amazing. You think, man, the exploration was really good. And Luigi's Mansion is cool because you still get that exploration piece, and you're heavily rewarded for deep exploration. But I felt very rewarded every time we got to a boss, because every boss was its own puzzle. So, for instance, one of the first bosses I fought that kicked my butt like twice before I finally beat it was this cook in the kitchen. So you walk into this kitchen, and there is just like billowing smoke coming up from the stove, and you're kind of like, what? So you start sucking it in with your vacuum to clear out the smoke so you can see, and you're like, okay, this isn't enough. So before you even get to fight the boss, the first thing you have to figure out is, okay, I'm going to have Luigi do this. Let me get Gooigi out and help suck. So suddenly you've got two Luigis sucking a whole bunch. Hold on, phrasing. They're using their...
I want to isolate that clip. You got two Luigis just sucking.
Oh, God. They're sucking up the smoke.
What are they sucking, Luke? What are they sucking? Simple question.
Oh, don't make me answer that.
Simple question. Answer the question, Luke. What are they sucking? Where does Luigi come from, by the way? Like, what?
Yeah, so Luigi is like a story character that you unlock by gaining an upgrade and giving it to Egad. And Egad is like, okay, I have this magical goo now that sits in a pack on your back that has your DNA. And it's a clone of you, except it's better than you because it can go through things.
Is it like sentient? Like, does Luigi like have its own thoughts?
Okay, so they don't give it a ton of like clear sentience, but
is there ever a moment? Is there ever a moment where Luigi and Luigi high five each other?
Not high five, but every single time that Luigi's about to die, or like you are about to like have Luigi get sucked up back into his backpack, Luigi just gives this really depressing thumbs up to Luigi and then disappears. No. It's like, I'm ready to die.
He has a brain. That's unfortunate.
I know, and you literally murder him over and over again. It's kind of like the Star Trek theory of like teleportation, how you're actually destroying someone and then re-putting them together.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically what happens with Luigi. He just gets torn into a million atoms and then put back together over and over again. His life is basically a living hell.
What would we need an ESRB rating for that? Just like
eternal virtual character torment.
Yeah, body deconstruction over and over again. Questions of sentience. That's the ESRB rating. Questions of sentience.
Oh god.
Rated E for everybody.
Yes.
Comic mischief and questions of sentience. Maybe E10, okay? Maybe it's E10.
Maybe E10. You got to be at least 10 years old to have that kind of nihilistic view and cynicism, for sure.
Yeah. So one of the things that I keep seeing and hearing about this game is that like it just looks incredible and like all the animations are really spectacular, which is I think something that was true in the first Luigi's Mansion game. I remember like every time you opened a door, it was like this really high like quality picture, like video of like Luigi's hand, and he's got like the glove, and the glove looks really nice, and he's like turning this handle, and it's just like the production values are like so big. And I guess just because it's not like a huge like open world game where everything's kind of more confined, like you can spend more time on those details. So how do you feel about like all of those things?
Really, really good. Like everything interacts with each other so well. There's so many little things that really make a difference. Aesthetically, so I felt like the first game was very like legitimately kind of scary and dark, and they had these like creepy moments where, like you said, like where Luigi goes and he's like shivering and you just see his hand open the door, and you can really like feel his fear. They did a good job of making it kind of like a horror game. And this one is not as scary, but the aesthetic is still there. Not the scary aesthetic, but like the aesthetic of what's happening and what's going on. You know, Luigi's been through this. He's done this. He's still scared, but like you can feel his bravery is a little bit higher than it was in the first two games. And just the way you approach everything as a character with Luigi, it's really cool. It's like he's got his best friend there himself to work through all his problems.
Yeah. One of the things I remember from like Luigi's Mansion 1 is just like walking into a room and it's like completely empty, but you're like, there's some ghost fucks in this room, and I don't know where they are, but it's kind of creepy. It's like I'm not alone in this room. Do you ever get that feeling in Luigi's Mansion 3?
It's not the same.
Like the first time you walk into a room and it's just like, I know there's fucking ghosts in here. I can't see it right now, but I know it's here.
Yeah, it's not the same. They're not as hidden, right? Because like as a character, Luigi has progressed a little bit. Like he's done this a couple times now. So it's not really the same. Like when you go into a room, there'll be like a couple seconds or like a few seconds where, you know, you're like still exploring the room and you're like, this is suspicious. And then you're like, okay, Luigi knows what's going on, and they pop out.
Okay.
But it's not quite the same where like Luigi's going and exploring a drawer and he's like, oh my god, there's a ghost.
Yeah.
So he's progressed as a character a little bit, so it's not quite the same, but there are some still really creepy moments. Like there's one ghost that like goes like, and you can't see him at all. He'll like, you can see like footprints, or like ghost prints around the room, and it'll come up behind you, and like, you know, if you don't realize it or Luigi doesn't realize it, he'll like jump out at you and scare you, and it's neat. So you still get some of those moments, but it's a little bit different.
Okay.
But yeah. Back to the boss real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
That first boss. So after you're sucking, you and Luigi are sucking. You clear up all the smoke, and this is in a kitchen. So this is like a cook boss. That's the first part of the puzzle. That's before you even start fighting him. Then when you start fighting him, you realize like he's got all these. It honestly, I don't want to say Dark Souls. That's a dumb example, but like. You really have to care about like what's being telegraphed and figure out like what's going on. So some of the other ghosts you fight before that, he's one of the first bosses. So a lot of the other ghosts, you just shine your flashlight and you suck up the ghost, right? Pretty simple. But then they get progressively harder. So you run into this guy and he's the first one to have like boss mechanics. And you're like, okay, why can't I beat him? So the first thing, he'll do like a spin attack that's super fast. And that's just, you know, get out of the way. But then every time you try to flash him, he like blocks his face with a pan, like a cooking pan. And you're like, how the heck am I supposed to beat this guy? What do I do? And the thing I love about this game, they give you these really awesome bosses with all of these cool mechanics, and they give you multiple ways to solve it. So like, for instance, in this boss, there are two ways you can solve that to get rid of his pan. One, you can actually shoot a plunger. So, like, Luigi has, like, I don't know how he got these. Luigi has all these plungers with him that shoot out of his vacuum.
Okay.
He's like a plunger attachment.
He's a plumber. Makes sense.
Yeah, he's a plumber. I guess that does make sense. So, it'll, like, hook. It's like a plunger with a rope on the end. And he'll shoot it. And if you hit the boss's pan, you can actually suck the the cord on the plunger with your vacuum and rip it out of his hands.
Nice.
And that's one way you can do it.
That's
and then
some comic mischief.
Oh, it's great. It's very comical and very mischievous. Then you can also use the food around the room and shoot that at him to knock it out of his hands. So it's really clever because, okay, I will say the bosses are significantly harder than Luigi's Mansion, like the first Luigi's Mansion. But it feels so much more rewarding because of that challenge and because it's a puzzle that you have to figure out as you're fighting them. Like there were definitely several bosses where I died maybe like 3 or 4 times to actually be able to beat it. That never happened in the first game.
Yeah, that's good. It makes them more memorable too, probably. It's like, I remember like having to do some bullshit to beat this boss. And this boss was just a fuck, and I had to fucking work my ass off to do it.
Exactly.
And it just, like, it makes it more interesting. It makes you, more engaged, and it makes it more memorable. So that's really cool.
Definitely. And they did that really well, for sure.
How's the music?
Music is really good. It's varied. So the cool thing, the way this hotel is set up, it's not just like, you're not just going from like floor of hotel rooms to floor of hotel rooms.
There's like themes, right?
Yes, they all have themes. So there's like a pirate floor. There's like a dance club floor. There's, oh my gosh, one of my favorites. There's a movie production floor where like there's actually one ghost. So all the ghosts in the game you basically like suck up and murder, except for this one, and he's like a movie producer. And I don't want to spoil this because it's actually cool. There are a few different ways that you can approach this floor, but the way that we did it, we went through the story and we helped them create this awesome movie. So you go through this puzzle, and then you basically become a kaiju, and you fight ghosts hidden in Godzilla costumes, and that's the boss.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And you just get so much variation in the music and the context and the puzzles. And I think that's why we were able to play it in 2 days. Like 17 hours in 2 days is a lot.
It is. Yeah.
And it's just because like every time you go to a floor, it feels different. Like all the puzzles are themed and different and very unique. All the bosses are, the music, it feels fresh the entire game. You never feel like you're doing something twice.
Okay. That's good to hear. It's when I think about Luigi's Mansion and when I hear like 17 hours, it's just like I'm like, okay, is there a lot of filler in there?
No. That was us skipping a ton of content.
Okay.
That was like bare bones, just the story. I didn't even mention, like, there are kind of 3 other parts of the game that I didn't even do at all. One of which are gems. So me and Pipgirl did do some gems. Probably got about 40% of them in the game. Basically, there are numerous puzzles on every floor that you can solve to find hidden gems. Yes, hidden gems. It's hilarious.
I'm a little surprised you didn't get all the gems, but
they're time consuming and very difficult, and they're puzzles. And I'm not great at puzzles. Like I was able to do some of the hard ones, but a lot of them were so well hidden and so good as a puzzle that I couldn't solve them. But yeah, that's one that you actually find while you're playing the game. Then there's an entirely separate feature that like you unlock during the story and you can do if you want, but I literally didn't do a single one, and those are boos. So you have King Boo, but also you have all of like Boo's little followers that are the classic white ghost. And every floor has a hidden Boo that you can fight and beat and like collect. And there's a whole thing revolving around that. I literally don't even know anything about it because we just skipped it. And there's that whole other piece. Then there's also this multiplayer version. So outside of like about halfway through the game, you unlock the Terror Tower or whatever it's called. And there's a whole other tower, not the main hotel, but a whole separate tower that you can play in multiplayer with up to 8 people. And you can go and explore.
Holy
I think
shit.
you can fight. Yeah. It's this whole other thing that we haven't even touched yet. So if you ever want to go explore that, are you planning to get the game, Michael?
I do plan to get the game. I don't know when. It'll probably be towards the end of the year or maybe in January or sometime. I have some other stuff that I want to get through.
Of course.
But it is like
it.
It's on my priority list. It's I have like my list of like games I want to play, and then I have my priority list of games I want to play.
Right.
It's definitely on the priority list.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good one, and we've been talking about it, me, Memory Cards, and Pipgirl, and I think we want to try that Terror Tower just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
But yeah, 17 hours was rushing through the game, and the thing is, like, you can rush through it, but even rushing through it, you still get all those good moments, right? I didn't feel like I missed anything by rushing through it.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you think the game is a swish.
Definitely a swish.
Okay.
Definitely a swish.
That's cool. That's really cool to hear. Yeah, definitely looking forward to playing that game eventually. But sounds pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. Well, I've got some impressions myself, if you're ready.
You know I'm ready.
So, Death Stranding came out this Friday, and pretty much all day Friday, and definitely all day yesterday, I locked myself away, and I've been playing this game. And it feels nice, just to begin with. It feels nice to play like a new release again, like privately.
Right.
Because the last time I did this was with either DMC5 or Sekiro. They both those games came out the same month, and I forget which one came out. I think DMC5 came out. Yeah, DMC5 came out afterwards. So that was like the last big release this year that I played kind of privately, because shortly after that is when I really started to stream.
Yeah.
So it feels nice to kind of just like not stream, just kind of lock myself away and just privately enjoy this game.
But you did have a stream for that game, right?
For Death Stranding?
Yeah.
So yesterday I basically just plugged in my Elgato and streamed like just the gameplay. I didn't have my mic or my camera set up or anything. I was just So it was literally just like I kind of wanted some B-roll because I want to do like a thing. Basically, I'm thinking about cutting this section out of the podcast and uploading it separately, like later in the week after the podcast goes live, as a highlight. Because that's a thing to do, networking, right?
Yeah.
So I was kind of just getting some B-roll and just putting some gameplay out there, but I wasn't commentating or anything. It was just still me on my couch with my fucking big mouth open and my balls hanging out.
Yeah, I saw the alert come up, and the thumbnail was like, no commentary, and it had a picture of you in the corner with your face like with a red X.
Yeah,
I laughed so hard. Dude,
yeah. I put it because I didn't want to like mess up my setup too much. Because I've had issues, like I have my Elgato set up a certain way now, and I had issues when I first got the Elgato where it was like trying to get it to where it wasn't fuzzy and like everything looked crisp and stuff. So I didn't want to like stretch it out for like a full screen thing. So I still had my regular overlay on, but I didn't want to have just like a random black box in the corner.
Yeah.
So I just put it like a picture of my face there and just put a red X to say like, hey, this is what
that was amazing though.
This is what I normally look like, but not today, buddy. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. I chuckled myself as well. It's pretty funny. But Blue, let me tell you about Death Stranding. I'm gonna make a.
Please do.
I'm gonna make a timestamp here. So Death Stranding, I really like Death Stranding. I really, really like it. So I played for about 15 to 20 hours, and so full disclosure, everyone that's listening, if you don't want to know anything about Death Stranding, which is kind of the way that I feel you should go into this game, I'm going to talk about everything in those 15, 20 hours. So full spoilers, we're going to get all in there. So Death Stranding, also to note, the last time I looked at Death Stranding was the E3 trailer in 2018. And after that, I went on total media blackout for this game, which I think is important because, that E3 trailer had like snippets of gameplay, kind of. It was mostly just like, your main character walking around. But it was very quickly cut. It didn't get like into any nitty gritty details and stuff. And so my expectations for this game were not through the roof. I didn't have I wasn't expecting anything other than to get some weird, different kind of game.
Something different.
Yeah, and I think that's important. I did the same thing with Indivisible, and people were kind of down on Indivisible, and I think that game has problems too, but I went on total media blackout for that game as well, and so my expectations weren't there.
Right, which is honestly probably good for something so different so that you can form your own opinion.
Yeah, because I'm not expecting a world-changing kind of game. I'm just expecting to have a good time with a video game. But Death Stranding,
I think some people forget that, right?
I do. I really do. So Death Stranding is interesting. I have this thing. I felt something with video games for a while where it's been a long time since I've been really truly 100% engaged with a world in a video game. Mainly because especially with open world games, fast traveling is just this super prevalent feature now. It's you just fast travel around the world and stuff.
Yeah.
And so
it's basically in every game.
It's when you can just fast travel, and when the game is set up and kind of expecting you to fast travel a lot, it's difficult to really feel like you're in the world. It's difficult to feel like you're grounded. It's difficult to feel like you're actually walking through this world. And Death Stranding has technically fast travel. You don't unlock it for a while, and it's not really fast travel the way you're thinking it. It's mostly just going back to a zone. I think I haven't actually used it.
Going what?
Going back to a zone. Because it's not it's kind of open world, but it's more what I've played so far is there's a huge kind of first opening area, and it's quite large, and then you kind of move on to a next kind of zone, so you can fast travel back to the previous zone. But it's not you're not accepting quests and just fast traveling to go to this place and do the quest and then fast traveling back. It's not like that, which I enjoy. I for a long time, I've really wanted a video game kind of like this, where you really feel like you're in the world and you really feel like every step matters. You feel like every mountain matters.
You get real immersion.
Yeah, you do. Because one of my favorite things in video games, in all media, in stories, is something that I call it the journey, right? And some of my favorite examples of the journey are Avatar: The Last Airbender, Lord of the Rings. This game is basically the Walk to Mordor, the game. That's the feeling you get, where it's like you're on a journey, you're on a trek, and yeah, it's really interesting.
High praise.
So I started the game. It's hard. I have a bunch of notes on Death Stranding. It's like hard to really collect myself with all of this.
Because there's so much, right?
There is so much. So you start the game, and the game is like a cargo carrying simulator, right?
Yeah.
It starts off, and one of the first things you do, one of the first prompts, is there's a cutscene where you're on a bike and you crash your bike, and so your cargo gets kind of dumped, and you have to pick it up. And so the first prompt is like you walk up to this piece of cargo, and it's like carry with your right hand, carry with your left hand, or carry on your back. So the main character, Sam, played by Norman Reedus, has this like backpack thing. It's basically like it's hard to explain. It's like a big
It's like a backpack you can stack things on.
yeah, it's like a back. It's not really. It's like I'm trying to think of the word, like a hand truck almost, like that kind of thing, and like you're stacking stuff in it, and you're stacking all these containers and stuff in it, and so you can carry like a certain amount, and every container has like weight, so you can carry like a certain amount of weight on your back.
It's really funny to watch when you have too much.
Yeah, it looks the gameplay loop is like, carrying stuff and keeping your balance. One of the main mechanics is if you hold R2, if you hold either the triggers R2 or L2, he like grabs the straps on his by his shoulders. You know how like when you're carrying something really heavy, you like grab the straps to kind of like make it a little easier to carry.
Like
that's a mechanic.
Yourself,
that's a mechanic in this game, and it like helps you keep balance. And
that is amazing.
It is, and it's like this is something this game is probably especially special to me. Just coming back this year from doing this whole mountain climb thing that I did.
Right.
Where it's like I remember doing that on that mountain climb where it's like, man, this fucking backpack's really heavy. I've got to like, I've got to be careful. I'm walking across all these rocks, and so I'm like holding onto the straps. Like that's a thing that I did. But yeah, so like that's the main kind of gameplay mechanic is there's not a lot of combat. There's hardly any combat at all. I got, like I said, 20 hours into the game, and I just got like a gun, and it's not really even technically a gun. It's like you shoot like a rope, like a electric rope, and it like binds people up, but it doesn't kill them. It's basically just like there's this faction of people who inhabit like certain areas, and they want to steal like your cargo. Because this game, the world is weird, right? There's this faction called the Mules, and they want to steal your cargo because they're obsessed with like delivering cargo.
What?
They get like a rush from it, and so they go out and steal other people's cargo so that they can deliver it. It's like it's so strange.
That's
but yeah,
really
like
funny.
the main mechanic is you get to an outpost and you accept a job. It's like, hey, carry these medicines to the next outpost, and you load everything up on your back, and you head out, and you have certain items that you can use, like there's ladders and stuff, and so it's like and there's a river, and you can wade through the river, but like depending on how much you have in your back, it might be harder. You might depending on how fast the current is going, you might be swept away. So you can either ford the river, or you can lay like if the river is too deep, because you have a scanner and it'll tell you like blue is like this is okay. You'll walk across this river no problem. Areas that get like yellow, it's like okay, this is a little deeper. You might kind of struggle with it. And then red is like you'll sink if you walk into this red area. And so you can do that, or you can just like pull a ladder out and like lay the ladder across the river, and just like walk across this little ladder. You can use the ladder.
You don't fall.
Yeah, I mean, I've never fallen. I mean, I think it kind of sets you up on the ladder, but.
Oh, okay.
And you can set ladders up like if you're trying to get up on a cliff. You can set up ropes if you're like up somewhere really high and you want to climb down. You can put an anchor point in with a rope and kind of like shimmy your way down this rope. And the rope has like 30 feet, so you can't go more than 30 feet. And the other interesting thing about this is that this game has like a Dark Souls style like multiplayer, world connection thing.
Like invasions?
Not invasions, but there's two major things. One is that you can leave like signs, kind of like in Dark Souls.
Oh, nice. Cool.
So you can leave signs all over the place. And the other thing is that I think the way it works is that it clusters you into like a group of people. And so if I set up a ladder somewhere, that ladder will show up in someone else's world and they can use that ladder.
Oh, that is really, really cool.
And like if somebody sets up a ladder across a river, I might get to a river and there might already be a ladder there because somebody else set it up. And so I can cross it and use their ladder. And then there are certain structures that you can build. So there's like generators and stuff. So certain items, like you can get these legs, these skeleton legs that like brace your legs and allow you to carry more stuff.
I love that.
And so, but they require like charging, and certain vehicles.
Charging?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
like they run out of batteries, and certain vehicles require charging, and so you can build generators, where if you stand near the generator, it'll charge your shit, and so other players can build generators and leave them up, and so you can use their generators. You can build bridges. So you can build, pretty big bridges over like large rivers or just areas where you want to avoid like combat encounters. You can build bridges kind of
Right.
and avoid that stuff. And you can use other people's bridges. Like it's really cool.
That is really, really cool. I love
And
that.
the other thing is that there's a urinate mechanic. And so
What?
like, you over time you build up like a urination meter where it's like, it starts at 0 and like if you have like 150, you have a lot of pee. And so you can pee places, and when you pee, it leaves like a little mushroom, and that mushroom generates these little bug things that you can use as like healing items.
So you basically eat your pee?
You're not eating your pee. They're basically like, are you familiar with like tardigrades? Those little like microscopic.
Okay.
Weird. They're like those. They look like that, except they're like big, and so they kind of congregate over these little mushrooms that you
Interesting.
grow with your pee. So it's
So
like
what happens if you never pee?
I'm not sure.
You just explode, or?
Well, you can pee like out in the wild, and you can also like use a toilet in one of the centers, because all the major centers have like a private room that you can go into, and they have like various stuff that you can do. So I built a generator, and then somebody peed on it, and that's an experience that I had. That's an experience that I had in Death Stranding. I built a structure, and somebody fucking pissed on it.
That's hilarious.
And it's really funny. There's spots like you can take a rest.
Yeah.
And so you can rest. You can see where other players are resting sometimes. And so you can rest. Like it forms this little rock pile. And it's like that's where another player in another world is resting. So you can like rest with other players. And like the bigger the rock pile, the more players are there resting.
That's actually really cool.
It's really, really cool. And so your world ends up being like really populated with all these other players' things, because this game is about making connections, by the way.
Okay.
This game is about a lot of things. It's hard to talk about this game because this game is just about a lot of things. But
Let's hear about him.
A big feeling I get with this game is Shadow of the Colossus. It reminds me a lot about that.
Really?
If you've ever played Shadow of the Colossus, like the parts where you're not fighting the Colossus, the part where you're like wandering to the next Colossus, and it's just this big world, and it looks really beautiful, and it's really lush, and there's not a whole lot going on, but just the atmosphere is there, and you're not doing a whole lot. You're not fighting like random enemies. There are, like I said, there's the faction that tries to steal your shit, but you can't really. You can like punch them and stuff. And you can shoot them. Like I have the gun that shoots the electric wire, but you're not really going out it's not an action game. You're not going out and like shooting people. Death Stranding is like a really weird indie game with a AAA budget. That's like the best way to put it. It's got this just really weird, I can't tell you the last time I played like a AAA game with a huge budget that had like almost no combat, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's
It's like
crazy to think about.
Uncharted combat, Horizon Zero Dawn combat, God of War combat. Obviously like racing games, stuff like that. There's no combat, but it's really refreshing. Like I think I'm so glad that this game exists. It's like such a weird concept. It's such a weird thing, and it's so unique. And I totally understand like people are not gonna like this game. This is not a mainstream game at all. This is not like a widespread appeal kind of game. But for me, there's just a lot to get out of it. So I wrote down minimal HUD. That's another thing. That's just a small thing that I love about video games are games that have like minimal HUD and don't have a lot of shit on your screen, because it helps you, see the world. It's like one thing that I hate in video games is the mini map, right? I hate mini maps because when you're playing a game with a mini map, you feel like you're playing the mini map. You're not playing the game, right?
Right.
And so Death Stranding definitely has that feeling where it's like, okay, I'm starting here. I can see that big ass structure that I'm going to way off in the distance. And it's like, I don't need a mini map to tell me how to get there. I can see like all of the roads,
where you're going,
and the crevices and the mountains in between it. I see where I need to go. I see like all the obstacles that I need to cross. And I'm just focused on doing that. I'm not following like a map. I'm just going there myself.
Right.
So that's really, really cool. The world of Death Stranding is bizarre. It's truly bizarre. And I have some theories about, I'm obviously not done with the game, but I have some theories about what's going on. But there's a lot of interesting concepts. So basically, like, there was an event called the Death Stranding in this game, or in this world. And so basically what started happening is that when people die, 48 hours after they die, they trigger what's called a void out, where they explode basically and cause this huge crater.
Ooh.
And so the Death Stranding, from my understanding so far in the game, was an event where this happened, all at once. Basically, there was like a huge moment where this just happened all over the place and just fucked everything up. So there's humanity is like on the brink of extinction almost. And so when you die now, like they discovered like what actually happens to you when you die. They discovered this thing called the beach, and everybody has the beach, and when you die, you go to the beach. And it's kind of like the Upside Down almost in Stranger Things. And so people who die are still connected to their bodies by strands, or they're still connected to the world of the living by strands. And so, like, if you see in the trailers, like the first two trailers where it's like the invisible people with the hands, they're like doing the handprints, but you can't see them. Those are like dead people that are basically looking for their bodies.
That's creepy.
It is. And they'll attack you and stuff. And so there's that. And then there's special people called, your main character is one of these people. They're called, I forget what they're called. They have some special term. But some people can, when they die and go to the beach, they can go back to the world of the living. So obviously this is like a respawn mechanic, basically. You can follow your strand back to the world of the living and get back to your body. And if you get back to your body before it does a void out, then it's like your soul leaves your body. And so if you can get your soul back to your body, you can continue going on, basically. And so there's a few characters in the story with this. There's another character called Die Hard Man.
Oh my god.
Which is just another thing about this game is that the names are hilarious. So like your main character is Sam Porter Bridges. Sam is his only actual name. Porter is like his title, and then Bridges is the company that he's working for.
That's really funny.
So it's Sam Porter Bridges, and people call him that, and that's his name. But it's not actually, Sam is his name.
That's just Sam, yeah.
And like there's a lot of characters where it's like, you go to a wind farm, and there's a character called Jake Wind, and it's like that's just what he does, you know.
Yeah.
There's the character who's modeled after Guillermo del Toro, and he's not actually voiced by him, but it looks like him.
Yeah.
His character is called Dead Man, because he's an expert on like communicating and dealing with the dead, so they call him Dead Man. And it's just wild. This game world is so wild, and it's so interesting, and it's so unique. There's anything like this. And there's just so many interesting elements. You have a fucking fetus attached to you
I
at all times.
I saw the trailer of that. Yeah.
So
Wait,
you
attached to you at all times?
Yeah, so it's called a BB. And basically in this world,
God.
you know, where I'm at in the game right now, it's I don't fully have a full understanding of.
Have you beaten the game?
No.
Okay, because you mentioned you didn't get a gun until 20 hours in. So do you know about how long this game is?
It's like 60 hours, I believe.
Oh, that's like a serious game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of cargo to deliver. So like I'm not really fully clear on what the BBs are, and like they're called BBs, and it stands for Bridges Baby, because Bridges is like the company, but everyone calls them BBs. It's like it's so funny. It's so Kojima. Like you could show me this game and I could know nothing about who made this, and I could be like, this is probably a fucking Kojima joint, honestly.
Right.
And it's so interesting because, you know, I just played MGS1 this year, and I played it on stream. And that game impressed me today with all the wild shit that it does, and all the interesting, you know, unique stuff that nobody's doing in video games. And this is just it again. And so you have this BB, and it's basically this 28-week-old fetus in this like fake, you know, fetus pod. And you hook up to it. It's got an umbilical cord, and you have like a.
Okay.
You have this cord.
Okay.
You have this cord that looks like an umbilical cord, and I'm sure it's very symbolic, but
Yeah.
it's attached to you, and the BBs can detect BTs, which are the ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
So that they're like a tool, right, in this world. And actually, when you first get your BB, Dead Man is like, this BB is defective. Like, just take it to the incinerator. Like, we're gonna burn it.
Oh God.
And it's like, yeah, that's just the thing you do. It's not a baby. It's just a tool, you know. And so
That's
there's
really weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of unsettling stuff like that, which is really interesting. You know, it's stuff that I obviously really like. But yeah, these BBs detect the BTs. It's so ridiculous. It's like, and
What in the world, man? This game is wild.
it is completely wild. So the main story is you know, the last president of the United States, who happens to be your mother. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a whole thing. So the last president of the United States dies, and you know, basically you and Dead Man and Die Hard Man all want to keep that a secret because they feel they want to reconnect America. Basically, America is like disconnected, and everyone's kind of just doing their own thing. So they want to create strands. They want to create connections with people. It's all very like Kojima has this whole thing with like world peace. I feel like.
Uh-huh.
There was a thing in MGS5 where there was a secret cutscene, and the only way people knew about this cutscene is that they hacked the game. But
Really?
There's a secret cutscene where, because there's a mechanic where you have your mother base in MGS5, and you can build nukes, and you can go online and invade other people and destroy their nukes. So there's a secret cutscene that triggers only when every single online player of MGS5 doesn't have nukes. It's like complete.
That is insane.
It's complete disarmament, and it's like, yeah, that's Kojima. Like, I feel like this is in a lot of Kojima games where it's just like this like world peace kind of symbolism. So you're on this quest to connect America again, by going to all these outposts and doing all this stuff. And I have my theories. This might be like totally incorrect, but I have a theory that the game actually takes place on the moon.
Really?
Like some kind of terraformed moon or something. Because the way they talk about it, the way so far that they talk about America is like, they talk about America, and this is a very Kojima thing as well, but they talk about America as if America is like the only country on Earth. And it's very like, we have to fix America. We have to reconnect America. There's no mention of like, I don't know, Europe or Asia or anywhere else. And you know, you're traveling, you start on the East Coast, you start in basically like Philadelphia, I think. And you're traveling east, or you're traveling from east to west. Your goal is to get to the West Coast. And it's like, dude, America doesn't fucking look like this. Like, this looks like New Zealand or something. Like, America does not look like this. And there's some little hints too, like, you know, the characters want to cover up the death of the president.
Right. And
so you already have this like, yeah, these characters are down for cover-ups, right? They're down for like lying to everybody. And then also, you know, the studio intro when you like boot the game up, the like intro for Kojima Productions is his little mascot, the little skull guy in like the robot costume. Mm-hmm. He's like on the moon, so there's that.
Ooh, okay.
And then also, so I haven't met the character who's played by Mads Mikkelsen, but there's basically like the BB that you have has like flashbacks to this character.
Oh my gosh!
So I haven't.
BB does.
Yeah. So like, and you're connected to the BB, so you experience these flashbacks that it's having, and it's basically like from the perspective of inside the pod, looking at Mads Mikkelsen, who I love is in this fucking game. Mads Mikkelsen, like after Hannibal, Mads Mikkelsen is like one of my favorite actors of all time. Just the way that he like reads lines is just like so good. But his character like talks about like, yeah, you know, BB, after all this is done, we can go anywhere. We can go to the moon if you want. And so I'm almost feeling like there's going to be a twist. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like there's a twist coming where it's like, yeah, this is on the moon, and like, you know, you're not actually in America or some shit.
Yeah, that'd be... Honestly, that I love that theory. I hope... maybe if it's not that theory, I still hope there's something like a twist. There has to be, right?
There is some weird twist, I'm sure. So one other thing that I didn't mention is that, like, there's this thing called the time fall.
Okay.
And so basically, instead of rain, when it rains, it's called the time fall. And what it does is anything that it touches, it ages it up. So like there's a spot, and this was in one of the trailers, but there's this section where somebody gets trapped with their hood down, and the time fall starts happening, and it's like it's pouring on his face, and his face starts to age. He gets wrinkly, his hair turns white, and he starts to age.
Oh my gosh.
You know, all of the like the game starts with like a cutscene of the time fall starting, and like there's a bunch of birds in the sky, and they all just start dropping down dead.
Oh my god!
Because they're like aging and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. That's like an environmental hazard, and it like destroys.
That is crazy.
It like rusts all your cargo and stuff. So if you're out in the time fall, and you have a bunch of cargo, it like starts to rust all the containers and stuff. And if you have like a bike, like the only vehicle that I've had so far is this little bike, it will like rust the bike. So there's just a lot of weird elements at play.
How do you avoid the time fall? Can you?
So like your character wears this suit, and when the time fall starts happening, he puts the hood up. And so it's not really like, there's no danger of like you being hurt by the time fall. It's more just like, hey, your you know, equipment and your cargo might start to get a little rusted and stuff, and it might not. It basically, like, if your containers rust, if you fall or trip over, the containers are more brittle, and so you're more at a risk of damaging your stuff. forget
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. And there's also this. So when the timefall starts,
Yeah.
there's an upside down rainbow that appears in the sky.
Okay.
Near the beginning of the game, like you're in a truck, and this guy goes, "Shit, rainbow," and it's like you look and there's this upside down rainbow, and it's like kind of intimidating. It's like kind of unsettling. It's like, why is this fucking rainbow upside down?
Yeah.
And so
that's a cool mechanic.
That's kind of another thing that I think is like, maybe it's upside down because you're on the moon and you're seeing it, from that perspective. I don't know. That's just throwing that out there.
I do really like your theory. Do you think when do you think you're going to finish this game?
I don't know. After this podcast, after I edit the podcast, it's up on my TV right now. I have it paused.
Oh, really?
I have it fucking paused. Cause like I don't get this feeling a lot too with games where it's just like I play it and then when I go to bed and wake up, like all I'm thinking about is going back to this game and playing this game.
Really?
And
wow,
I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with fucking carrying cargo around.
That's really cool. Well, it sounds like it's a long enough game where you're gonna have more impressions and more to talk about down the road. I'm really excited to because I honestly haven't been. I watched a little bit of gameplay, but I haven't looked into kind of like spoilers and the ending. So I'm really interested to see what that twist actually is and kind of what you think about the story and where it goes.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like it's so unsettling. Like the whole thing with like the dead being connected to the world of the living
and the freaking BBs. Oh my gosh, dude, that's like nightmare fuel.
You have like this impersonal like relationship with this BB that is that is just a fucking tool to you basically.
It's like a fetus, right? It's like a baby.
Yeah, they said it's 28 weeks old is when they take it out of the stillborn mother.
My gosh.
And so there's just so much wacky shit in this game, And I feel like a lot of people have been criticizing the game. They're like, "Oh, there's a serious cutscene going on, and then there's just like Monster Energy drink," and it's just like the game is
energy drink. I don't understand.
Yeah, there's you go to your private room and you can drink Monster Energy drinks.
Okay.
Like there's just like 15 of them on your table, and it's like it's literally the can. Like they scanned in the can, and it's just the can.
That's actually really funny.
You actually fill your canteen with Monster Energy drinks. So it's like when your stamina is low, and you need to refill your stamina, you pull out your canteen, and your canteen is full of Monster Energy drink.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
That's like what you drink.
Yeah, and then when you drink a lot of Monster Energy drink, after a while, your piss gauge fills up, and you got a lot of piss. And so you're not allowed to piss like on facilities. Jesus. So like if you try to do it, Sam will be like, "Nope, can't do that here." So you have to like go out and pee somewhere else.
Dude, that is so funny. I love that. I had no idea. Why are people complaining about that hilarious aspect of the game?
I think they're just like, the game is trying to be serious, and then there's just monster, and it's like the game is not trying to be serious. Like the game the game has serious elements to it, but it also has goofy elements to it, and they mix together, and it makes it.
It's like surreal. It's like a surrealist commentary game, right?
It's very surreal, yeah. And the commentary for sure on like connecting with people, and
it seems like people are trying to fit this game into an expectation that shouldn't be there, right?
They're trying to expect this game to be like Metal Gear Solid something,
yeah,
where like you shoot people and you go through this, and it's not that. Like I said, it's this weird indie game with just a AAA budget, which is not something that really exists. It's
yeah.
This is like that game like Human Fall Flat.
No, I haven't heard of it.
I'm trying to think of like weird. This is like Journey. Are you familiar with Journey?
Okay. Yep, I am. Yeah.
It's like Journey, but with a AAA. Journey's a little indie game,
right?
And it's like that, just with a huge ass fucking AAA budget. It's so cool.
That is really cool. And I honestly, it's such a great feeling knowing that we live in a world where games like this are even possible now.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm so glad games like this exist, you know?
Right.
And it's like I'm comparing this to Control, and I really liked Control. But like the thing about Control is that it has a weird setting and it has a weird world, but it's coupled with this just like kind of generic like third-person shooter stuff.
Yep.
And like the enemies are just kind of not really that interesting.
Yeah. It didn't give you. It wasn't different enough. They played it safe.
Yeah, it's like Control is like this weird thing, but it's also a video game. You know, it's a video game where where you shoot people and whereas like Death Stranding is an experience, and I hate saying that. It sounds like so generic, but it really is. It's just like this weird, unique experience. Like when you get deliveries, there's this whole like it's not really a currency, but like it kind of is, where it's likes. And so
get likes.
When you deliver stuff and it's in good conditions, like you get more likes. And then if you put like a bridge down and somebody uses the bridge, they give you likes. Like another player uses the bridge, you get likes.
Oh my gosh.
And when it's like tallying it up, it's like there's this sound clip where it's just like when you like get a whole bunch of them. And it's like,
dude, that actually, you know what? That going back to what was that faction that tries to steal your cargo?
Oh, the mules.
What if the mules aren't actually addicted to cargo? They're addicted to the likes they get for delivering the cargo.
Well, no, they're definitely addicted to the. So there's this whole story too where like they talk about Die Hard Man like gives you a codec call, and he's like back before the Death Stranding, you know, people figured out how to use drones to deliver stuff, and nobody really liked it. It took the human aspect out of everything, and so, you know, we created jobs that weren't necessary and gave them back to the people that couldn't live without them. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like, and these people like loved it. Like they loved delivering stuff.
That's really funny.
And so the mules are like, they're like the sons and daughters of people who would do that. And they want to be the hero who delivers stuff.
That is some like heavy commentary.
It is.
Like when you look at like the future of humanity and kind of like where we're headed now with automation and everything, I love all these like smart little pieces of commentary in this game. I haven't even played it. I haven't even watched a lot of gameplay. Just from like your initial impressions, there's so many little tidbits where you're like, oh man, that's clever.
Yeah, there's commentary, but like the commentary isn't taking itself too seriously. You know, it's commentary,
exactly.
But we're still having fun. Like it's stupid to like it's stupid. It's fucking stupid to like fantasize like, oh man, we got rid of those stupid drones that were taking people's jobs. Like it plays it so serious that's what makes it funny, and it makes it fun.
Exactly.
But it also makes it, you know, kind of commentary.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think the best part of the commentary is that it's not making an opinion; it's just provocative, right?
Yeah,
and that's what makes it an experience.
It is definitely an experience, and it's one that I really enjoy. Like I said, you really get a sense of traveling somewhere and going on a track. You're like, you know, I gotta walk over all these rocks. I gotta wade through this river. Oh shit, the wind's blowing. I gotta like really hold on to my gear and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's I'm so glad that a video game like this exists, and there's just so much. Like you have a private room and you can do stuff. So you can take a shower. You can take a piss. There's 3 prompts for the bathroom. You can take a shower. You can use the toilet standing up to take a piss, or you can take a shit. And when you take a shit, it blurs. You've got like this little cylinder kind of shower thing, and the toilet like pops out from there. Nice. So when he goes to take a shit, it like blurs out his dick with this big ad for an actual show. It blurs out his dick with this big ad for an actual AMC show that Norman Reedus is on.
No way.
It's called like Let's Ride or something, and it plays this motorcycle sound. It's like boom, boom when he's taking a shit.
That is hilarious. Oh my god.
It's so stupid. And when you take a shit, you take a piss, it like fills up a little fluid thing, and you can use your shit and piss to create grenades. And the grenades are good against the ghosts. Like, you can use the grenades to counter the ghosts.
So you basically need to go to the bathroom and pretty frequently in this game. It's a resource.
If you want. Like, I haven't used the grenades that often. Every time I go to this private room, I always take a shit and a piss, because it's like, you know, you need that, right? This guy's going on all these journeys, like, he needs to take a break. You can also go up to the sink, and there's like, you can do basically a million faces just like in the mirror. Okay. For no other reason, just to be like, here's Norman Reedus, like,
doing faces
in the mirror, and you can take pictures of it.
Perfect. I love that.
There's like a picture prompt. What else, dude? There's just so much to this game. I feel like I'm definitely going to talk about Death Stranding more on podcasts
really need
to come.
I really want to hear more about the story, and kind of like more of your theories, because the theory you brought today about the moon, awesome. Like, I really want to kind of see like where your head goes with this story as you get a little bit further along.
Yeah, as I reconnect America.
Yes. Make America connected again.
Make America connected again. It's true. Yeah.
That should be the podcast title.
Make America connected. It might be. It's not offensive enough. It's not going to get me kicked off of iTunes, but...
Okay, so we need a more offensive. We can get there.
Yeah, we can get there. So yeah, that's Death Stranding. It's not a game that I would recommend to everybody. I think if you're into something weird and you're into something new, I've never played a video game like this, and I probably never will. And it gives you a great sense of location. It gives you a great sense of accomplishment, and it's slow. Like, I could never stream this game, because it's like,
it's not that kind of game.
Yeah, like, I don't know what kind of commentary, and there's definitely exciting moments.
Right.
When a bunch of mules are chasing you down, and you're
right,
running away from them.
When there's a game like this, and you keep coming back to the point that it's an experience. When you have a game that's an experience, a lot of times it's like quiet introspection, quiet like what is going on. It's not of like outward stuff, like, when you're playing Mario Party and someone dicks on your hand in like with a hammer in a mini game and you scream, right? It's not that kind of game, right?
Yeah. So. And I definitely feel like I don't know what the fuck is going on in the story. Yeah. And I'm playing the game privately. If I was streaming, because I cannot. I am definitely like 50% into a game when I'm streaming it,
And you kind of have to be, right? Because you're 50% gaming, you're 50% interacting with people who are there to interact with you. And I think this is kind of why like this maybe shouldn't be a stream game, at least not for you, because you want to give it 100%. You want to be immersed. You seem like someone who, like, when you have these games that are an experience, you want to be 100% there. You want to be immersed.
And it's like, I want this to myself, I don't want this. Yeah. I don't want to give this to anybody else. I just want this for myself. It's selfish, and I want to play this game privately. And
that's good. It's good to have games to just yourself, right? Like, if you stream, if the only time you play games is when you stream, you're probably not someone that really loves games. You probably love the interaction with people more, and that's probably more why you play games, right? But if you're someone who, like, like you said, has a game that you want to play privately, it's because, like you said, you don't always want to share that experience, right?
Yeah. So I'm excited to play more. Like I said, as soon as I'm finished with the podcast and finished editing the podcast, I'm going to play more. It's going to be difficult to play this week, just because I got some stuff going on through the week, and then this Friday and Saturday I do plan on getting back to streaming, since I took a week off and playing MGS2. So there's going to be a lot of Kojima for me. But
is it this weekend? Is it this weekend or the weekend after where you've got your big ad stuff?
So I've got that here. So this coming Friday, the 15th, I'm getting my headshots done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. Yeah. Did you find somebody?
Yeah, I did. And
good.
They're a little studio. I could have done it through the company that I'm doing the workshops through, but that was like
way too much.
$600.
Oh my god.
This one's gonna be like $175 for like a couple hours, and I'll get like a couple outfits. I don't know if I'm gonna do any outfit changes or anything, but
$600 is a little superfluous, no doubt.
It is.
I think.
So that's the 15th, and then the 18th, that Monday, I'm doing stand up at the Laughing Skull Lounge. I had like one joke I needed to write, and then I got so like the best way to write jokes is to just like talk with people and to do stuff. You know, I write jokes basically around experiences that I have with people or just by myself. I have a joke about, you know, climbing the mountain. So I did that. I've got a pretty solid set, I think. You know, you get 4 minutes, which is pretty standard for like open mic stuff. So that's gonna be really, really fun. Unfortunately, on a weekday, on a fucking Monday, but I think that'll be really good. And you can get it recorded. You can pay like $15 to get a recording of it.
Please do.
I'm definitely gonna do that, and I'll post that everywhere. And then
I can't describe to you how excited I am to see that.
Yeah, I am doing a cardinal sin with open mics where I'm inviting people that I know. I'm inviting like people at work.
Whoa.
And you're not supposed to do that really when you do open mics, but fuck it, you know. We're going to do it.
It's also pretty brave. That's pretty brave of you.
It is pretty brave. Not everyone can do stand up. Stand up is for people who eat pussy. You know what I'm saying? Stand up.
You don't fall in that category though.
Stand up is for people who eat pussy, Luke. Okay?
So you don't do stand up?
Stand up.
Is that what I'm hearing? You don't do stand up, Michael?
I'm gonna do stand up. And then the agent showcase I've been doing this acting workshop thing, and it's all leading up to an agent showcase where I'm gonna have basically this dumb ad read in front of a bunch of agents, and they could decide to sign me or not. And agents, you know, acting agents are the people who get you jobs in acting. So that's on the 23rd.
Awesome.
So that's coming up as well, which I'm really excited about. Yeah. So with all that out of the way, we can finally move into the podcast proper.
Oh, what? This podcast proper starts now, guys.
Yep.
Brought to you by Moonshoes.
Podcast proper starts now. We don't have a lot of news items.
Okay.
So it was good to get like some of those impressions in there. But our first news item is something that I'm kind of excited to talk about you with. Is sure. There were some leaks recently.
Yes.
There were some Pokemon leaks.
A lot of them, yeah.
A lot of stuff
Big
came
ones.
out. I think the biggest thing that came out, which people were looking for, forward to finding out about Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, is which Pokemon are in and which Pokemon are out. And so there was a leak that showed off all the new Pokemon, and then all the Pokemon that are in, and all the Pokemon that are not in. And there's a lot of Pokemon that are not in.
Yeah, and I think there's probably one of the biggest shockers is that there's a culling of starter Pokemon. The only starter Pokemon that is available outside of the new ones are the Charmander line. Yes.
I wrote this down because this really shocked me because I knew, this list was going to come out eventually. And I thought for sure, like, an easy gimme is like, even though they announced, like, the dex cuts are happening, like, the starters are got to be there, right?
Yep.
Like, that's an easy one to just throw in there. Everyone's starters. It's what people, like, associate each game with is the 3 starters.
Mm-hmm.
Charmander's the only one. Not even all 3 starters from Red and Blue are there. It's just Charmander. Charmander and legendaries too. I saw that legendaries were cut, except for Mew, which I think is only because you can get him in that stupid Pokeball.
Yeah.
The one for Let's Go. So I kind of recently have just been starting to get into Pokemon games. I've only played I've only played Moon. I played Let's Go, and I'm like 60% through Crystal right now, which I'm really enjoying. Crystal is really fun.
Good.
And one of the appeals for me is like creating your team. One of the things that draws me to Pokemon is like having your team of boys and just like making them big fucking boys. Like I have these big fucking boys. And then bringing your boys like with you to the next game. Like I think that's such a cool concept. You can't really do that in any other video game. And so they're kind of just not really abandoning that, because like the Pokemon that are there, you'll be able to bring over from other games. But
it'll be
weird.
The first time you won't be able to bring all of them over.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually, so normally I don't know anything about video games, and I don't follow video game news. But have you heard about the Omori interview that happened?
I have not.
He's the director of Sword and Shield.
Okay.
And obviously we had this original discussion where they call it Dexit, or basically all the Pokemon getting cut. And Omori kind of came out yesterday and doubled down on that and said there will never be a national Dex again for any Pokemon game, and that we will never ever even consider it. And obviously that's had a lot of backlash today and yesterday due to that. Omori had a tweet that was like, I think he used the hashtag "Thank you Game Freak," and the Japanese audience responded with a trending hashtag "Fuck you Game Freak."
Nice. From Japan? That was what that's...
Yep, from Japan.
Rough, from your home country. And it's... Pokemon is like the opposite of Death Stranding. Death Stranding is an indie game with a AAA budget, and like Pokemon is like a AAA game with a fucking indie budget. Like... There's not that many people that work at Game Freak. Like, it's such a small team, and it's a little ridiculous because Pokemon is like one of the biggest brands ever.
It is the biggest franchise in the world.
Yeah, it makes like so much fucking money.
It's the number one franchise in the entire world. There's not a single franchise bigger than Pokemon.
Yeah, which is
it's crazy,
insane that the games. It's not even like just the Dexit thing. It's like Sword and Shield like looks bad.
Right. Like it literally, like, okay, so you have a lot of cool things, like the towns look good, but as soon as you go out into the wild areas, it's literally like ported assets from the 3DS games.
Yeah.
For a Nintendo Switch game.
Yeah.
Like, you can play Witcher 3. Now, doesn't look great, but you can play Witcher 3 on the Switch, but you couldn't have graphics in Sword and Shield that were better than Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I mean, you can play Mario Odyssey on Switch, and Mario Odyssey looks incredible.
Exactly.
That game looks colorful and fun, and the textures aren't bad, and the animations aren't bad. That's the other thing is, like, the animations suck still.
Right. Yep.
And they're still, like, the same, like you said, the same animations from, like, the fucking 3DS games. And the whole Dexit thing is a whole controversy, too, because... from my understanding is that they, in like Sword and Shield, or not in Sword and Shield, in Sun and Moon, they created all these like high quality assets for every single Pokemon, and they scaled them down. And like Sun and Moon had like major performance issues because they had all these assets that were like,
right.
They were scaling them down, but them just being there was like crippling the hardware on the fucking 3DS. Right. And the idea was that like these assets would be future proof and they'd be able to just scale them up and use them for future games, but they're just not going to. And they say that it's like, I think the excuse is like we're cutting down the Pokemon so that we can focus on other things, but it's like you're clearly just using the same assets from the 3DS game anyway for the Pokemon that are there, because they don't look that great. They don't look any different. It's not like you recreated these models. You just fucking ported them over.
Well, and it would actually be understandable if the game had more meat to it and more content, but it doesn't, right? So like a lot of things were cut, a lot of competitive things were cut, but there were also a lot of, they didn't do anything groundbreaking. Like there were features added that could have been much better features, in terms of Pokemon. So, like, have you heard about the curry decks?
No. I know about the cooking curry.
Yes. So, there is, I'm not joking, so there is an entire, like, separate kind of mini game around making curry. You have 100 unique different curries that you can collect for your curry decks. So, like, there's this entire, like...
Are there really 100 different types of curry?
I'm not kidding. Yes.
Like,
there's a curry decks.
Are there... How do you make 100 variations of curry? Is that even possible? I guess if
Probably.
you have like weird Pokemon curry, right? Like, here's our oddish curry.
Yeah.
I guess that makes it
but
a
you know what
easier.
I mean? Like this is what they decided to add to the game instead of core features or other Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are some features that are like, it really depends on the person, like Pokemon Me, that are appreciated. Not everybody likes them. Do you know Pokemon Me?
No.
So Pokemon Me was in a few of the older games, and basically you could interact with any of your Pokemon and like pet them, rub their belly, make them happy. It was like a way to interact.
Sure. That was in Sun and Moon.
Yes. Okay. And some people liked it. Some people never used it. Some people hated it. But at least it was related to your Pokemon, right? The curry decks, it's like, it's cool and it's interesting and it's relatable to like the area because it's England. But why is that one of the main features of the game in a game about Pokemon?
Yeah, Pokemon games always feel like they just have such high potential, and there's so much there that you can do, and they just don't focus on the right things, and they just make poor decisions that are not even like,
Mm-hmm. Well, there's some communication from Game Freak about, I'm sure you've heard about Town.
Yeah, Little Town Hero.
Yes, which got pretty... it really didn't do very well. It got bad reviews. It did not hit the level of expectations that Game Freak was hyping it up to be.
And they put it out like a month before Pokemon?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
so
like
it
what?
just came out like a month ago. Woof woof. So it just came out a month ago, and the issue being they actually sent out a communication talking about how like Pokemon is now their secondary game. This new IP that they're making is their main focus, and that is what they're putting their time and efforts into. And this was like a clear communication from Game Freak, and it's really distressing when they say that, and it already is disappointing to Pokemon players, but then this IP comes out and they can't even deliver on this IP that they say is their number one priority.
Yeah.
Right.
Game Freak is weird because it's like Game Freak is not owned by Nintendo. Pokemon is like split between three parties. It's split between Nintendo, Game
Pokemon
Freak,
Company,
and the Pokemon Company. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's not like Nintendo can just like take Pokemon and like make it themselves. It's like, up to the Pokemon Company, I guess, to decide like who's gonna make it, and like Game Freak is always gonna fucking make Pokemon games, but like clearly they don't really give a shit anymore.
No, they don't even want it. They don't even want to be doing it.
Yeah,
so it's like, why? I don't know. I would pay $150 for a Pokemon Coliseum game on the Switch. Like, bring Mirror B back. That's all I want.
I almost feel like Pokemon Coliseum should just be like a mode in a Pokemon game. It's like that's the kind of stuff that you should put in your game, and it's like if it was made by a competent developer, I don't even think that Game Freak is necessarily incompetent. It's just like the game clearly doesn't have enough budget. Game Freak could very easily hire more people. They're a very small team. They're like less than 100 people or something, which is insane. Like you have companies, you have other first party studios at other companies where it's like these companies are making big games and they have like 500 plus employees.
Yeah.
And then you have this game company that's making a game for the biggest franchise in the world and they have like no people. It's like what why don't you just and I know that may not be what Game Freak wants, and that's fair, but you should I don't want to be like armchair.
Game Freak has 143 employees. That's every employee.
that is insanely small for like a big, you know, the game that is part of the biggest franchise in the world. It is an incredibly small team.
It's insane. I mean, it's just crazy.
And it may not be what Game Freak wants. You know, Game Freak may be like, look, we don't want to hire a bunch of people, but it's insane. Right. It's like you're making this huge game, and like if you just put more towards it and you have the resources, you know, Pokemon makes buku money. Pokemon makes all the fucking money in the world. Like this product should be better, and it's not even like, you know, Pokemon Sword and Shield will be fine. It will be playable. It will be okay. What's frustrating is not that the game will be terrible or unplayable. What's frustrating is that the game could be so much more. Like the potential is right in your face, and it's screaming at you, and they're just not going to reach that. That's why it's disappointing.
It's very disappointing, and I'm still going to play it, and I'm still going to love it. Right? It's like you said, like it'll be playable, and I'm probably going to love the game unless they pull a Sun and Moon on us. But the potential is the lost potential, the wasted potential is really sad. Mm-hmm. And by the way, what I mean by Sun and Moon, have you played those, correct?
I played Moon. Yeah, it's very handholdy. Whole game feels like a tutorial.
Yes, the tutorial-esque pacing of the game ruined it for me. I actually bought, so I beat the game barely. Like I suffered through it. Yeah. Then I got Ultra Sun and literally turned it on. I was like, oh, I'll play this. About 20 minutes in, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot this whole game is a tutorial, and never turned it back on.
Yeah. Which is crazy because like I'm playing through Crystal, and like there's a sense of adventure there, and there's a sense of like, I'm just gonna wander over here. The fact that you can like,
well, the fact that like Crystal, think about when you get to Olivine, and then you've got that city to like across the water down from Olivine where like the lighthouse is. There's very little explanation of like what order you're supposed to do things in. Like technically, you could, like this actually happened to me in the Nuzlocke. You can completely skip going and saving the Gyarados from the Lake of Rage. Like I didn't even in my Nuzlocke. Yeah, in my Nuzlocke, I didn't even know that was a thing you could do, and got my butt kicked in both of those other gems. And then after I beat them, I was like, oh, I never did that. Like, you don't have to do that game in a certain order, just like in Red and Blue.
That's interesting. I totally got that shiny Gyarados.
Exactly. I did.
And it's like that's one of my boys. And like, you know, I want to take that guy. And I know Gyarados is in Sword and Shield, but you know
But you know what I mean. It's just like there was no tutorial, there was no hand holding. It was just, here's this world. We're gonna give you some guide rails and let you go explore and have fun.
Yeah, you talk to NPCs and they're like, holy shit, like, shit's going down at that lake. Like, there's some kind of fucking pissed off Pokemon.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh, okay, I want to check that out. I want to see this fucking pissed off Pokemon.
Right? But they're not like, hey, you cannot progress in this game until you go do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They should definitely, like, skip the superfluous, you know, elements of the game and just focus on the things that matter, focus on the things that people really want, and I don't know if we'll ever get there. You'd have to take it away from Game Freak, I think, and you know, they may be happy to let that happen, who knows. But
and the sad thing is, like, I just don't think they necessarily have a passion for it anymore, you know, and I think that was clear. Made clear. That was made clear when they publicly announced that their main IP is Town. But in addition, you know, I will say, I think Let's Go was, I mean, it's not perfect, but I actually think they did a very good job on Let's Go.
It's cozy. The problem with Let's Go for me is that it's a $60 game.
Right. It could have definitely been like I would pay $40 for that game.
Yeah, this is the other thing that people are upset about, is that like the Pokemon games on 3DS and stuff have been $40 for a while, and then Sword and Shield comes out with like less content, but you're paying $60 now. And
which is honestly crazy. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Like, that's a whole other side to the argument of like, this is crazy. Why is there not enough content?
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed Let's Go. I played Let's Go Pikachu, and it's cozy. It's chill. You don't have to think too much about it. No. I got it on sale. I would not pay $60 for that game. That's not a full retail game. It's like it's a cozy little experience game, but.
We'll have to get you your shiny charm, and you can start shiny hunting with us.
Yes, I do want to do that.
Good.
So yeah, that's Pokemon. That's kind of a downer, but that game comes out. That game comes out this Friday, right? Yep.
Yeah, so. Same day that Gobi gets here.
Ooh, yeah, you and Gobi are hanging out.
Yeah, he's gonna stay with us, and we're gonna have some fun. It'll be good.
That's gonna be. Are you guys just gonna like sit around and play Pokemon?
I'm definitely gonna play a lot of Pokemon, but no, we have some things planned. Might try to do like a stream, the four of us together, like
that would be fun.
A Mario Party stream or something.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
that would be great.
But it'll be really fun. I like that. I'm just one of those people who like, the online. I love the way technology brings us all together. Like I met Pip Girl and Memory Cards online, and we're roommates now. Gonna see Gobi. Yeah. Yep. I actually have a work trip in December, and I'm probably going to meet up with Scott and maybe Maserati because they're both down where I'm going.
Cool.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun.
I'll be left out of that forever. I'll never visit you or be visited, but
no, you have to come up.
I'm off the grid,
or I could come down.
Yeah, it's possible. We're not too far away from each other, so it's definitely possible. I definitely want to record a podcast at some point, like with someone.
Yeah.
With someone like right there. I feel like that's like the ideal podcast scenario. Is like when you're looking at someone. And,
actually be on your couch. Actually be at your table.
Yes.
Actually be staring at you from outside your window.
Yes. Yeah. Because the issue I have now with recording the podcast is just like, I can't see the other person. I can't see when you're about to fucking speak. And so there's definitely a lot of like, oh shit, okay, we're trying to talk at the exact same time, which would be like alleviated by some of that stuff, but
definitely.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Okay, so that's enough of Pokemon for now. I'm done with you, Pokemon. So the next thing I have is that there was a couple days ago there was a like 45-minute direct from Sakurai where he showed off Terry Bogard, who's coming to Smash.
Yep.
And he released I think that night, so he's in Smash now.
And you played him?
I have not. I have Smash, but I don't have like the Fighters Pack. I haven't played any of the DLC people. I also don't play Smash all that often. But what I got out of this direct is I didn't watch all 45 minutes of it, but I watched, about half of it. Mm-hmm. And what was really cool is just Sakurai being like, here's this game's history. Here's where Terry comes from. Like, I'm going to show you every single one of his moves, and I'm going to explain why we gave him that move, which game that move comes from. It's, and this is the thing that's true for a lot of Smash characters, but it's like, authentic. The lengths they go to be authentic to the character is really, really cool.
Phenomenal, yeah.
And it makes me excited. I don't like to do this. I don't like to get hyped for things. That's why I go on media blackout. That's why
your name is SuperHypeGaming, because you never get hyped for anything.
Yes, it's a pun, or it's ironic. SuperHypeGaming is definitely ironic. No, I don't like to set my expectations for things. That's why I go on like media blackouts for stuff that I'm interested in playing and I don't want to know anything about. I'm fully expecting that Dante is going to come to Smash. I think it's like a guarantee. I really do, especially after they announced like that more fighters are coming after even the 5th character comes. I'm certain that Dante is coming to Smash. I'm like, do
you really think so?
I'm all in. Like, I'm probably going to get fucked by it, but
you're all in on it.
I'm completely convinced that
Dude, you're a gambling addict. We're
am.
Taking your gems away.
I am. And so like when Dante comes to Smash, I might be able to finally be good at Smash because I understand Dante's moveset.
Okay.
So when like I understand what all of these things are and what they do, and like, having that translate might help make Smash make a little more sense to me. Mm-hmm. So that
is a game with a lot of depth. Like,
it is
a surprising amount of depth.
and I'm not good at it. I can't even beat like the story
Yeah.
mode.
Dude, it's okay. I got stuck at Bayonetta, which is like the 8th person you fight
Yeah.
at the very beginning of the story mode.
But like Smash is a game that I really want to play because it's like, well, there's like 80 characters in this game, and they're
Right.
all really cool characters and really iconic characters and stuff. So I'm probably going to be let down, but I am at the point where I am without doubt that Dante will come to Smash, and they're gonna give him the moveset that I know. I know Dante's moveset, and I'm finally gonna be able to play Smash.
For your sake, I hope it happens.
Really, like I would prefer Nero. If we really want to get into it, I would prefer
Okay.
Nero. But like
it's just not going to happen. It would be Dante.
it would be Dante.
Yeah.
We can get Nero as like an assist trophy maybe.
There you go.
And like the final Smash is like Dante and Virgil doing jackpot. Like it's so easy. It'd be so easy to make Dante into a Smash character. It'd be great.
Sounds like you have some people to sell.
I do. Yeah. I think so. They've released like DMC 1, and for the lulz, they released DMC 2 on the Switch. It's funny for like after DMC 2 came to the Switch for like a month straight, the DMC account was like hyping up DMC 2, and everybody was like, no. So my prediction is that when they finally announce DMC 3 coming to Smash, it will accompany Dante. Or when they finally announce DMC 3 for the Switch,
To the Switch, yeah.
it will accompany a Smash announcement for Dante. And like I can just imagine too, like Dante's like sitting in Devil May Cry, and just like, man, there hasn't been a whole lot of phone calls recently, and like a little Smash invitation comes through. Like he's got like one of those little
Dude, you
like
gotta get on this team.
He's got those little like
now.
You know those like letter holes in doors that they used to have? He's got one of those, and just a little like letter pops in, flops on the door. It's like, what is this? It's so easy. It'd be so easy to put him in Smash. So please, Sakurai, please.
Sakurai, I know you listen to the Super Hype podcast.
I know you do.
Please make it happen.
He listens to a lot of podcasts. He does. Everyone that talks about Smash in a podcast, he listens to it because he wants to know.
Yep.
He wants to know what the people want.
Just don't talk about Sonic.
Yeah,
We don't want that kind of attention.
Luckily, he put Sonic in the game before people were talking about Smash on podcasts, so they don't have to talk about it.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Because again, if you
Makes
talk
sense.
about Sonic for 10 minutes, you get put into this whole category
That
on
other category.
iTunes of Sonic. It's not a place I want to be.
Yeah.
Not a place I want to be. Okay.
No.
And then our last news story for the week, I told you it was going to be light on news. The last news story for this week is PlayStation has named a new manager of or a new head of its worldwide studios. So formerly Shuhei Yoshida, the new head is a man called Herman Hulst. He comes from Guerrilla Games. He was the managing director and co-founder of Guerrilla Games. And so he's taking over that position. Basically, the head of Worldwide Studios is kind of like the manager of all of Sony's first-party studios.
Okay.
So he'll go around and like check in on games, because they give their first-party developers kind of a lot of like space,
Freedom. Yeah.
and so he kind of comes in and says like, how's the progress going, how's stuff going, and then Shuhei is transitioning to a new role that is being created, which is gonna kind of focus on independent studios, and maybe bring in some independent studios, and it's funny, at the start of the PlayStation 4 life cycle, Sony was like really heavy on indie games, and then kind of as they started, as more of their like big first party heavy hitters came out, they kind of shifted away from that. So it's possible that the start of the PlayStation 5 generation will be kind of the same, where it's like, here's just a bunch of indie games you can play on this new console. And I think Sony's going to have a really good launch for the PlayStation 5. I think they're going to probably have like I think they're gonna have something big. I really do. I think they're looking to have a strong launch. You know, basically the new president, Jim Ryan, is really shaking things up. You know, this comes a month after the chairman of Worldwide Studios, Sean Layden, has left or been axed. Who knows? Sean like still has not said anything about it. Like I stalk his Twitter account,
right,
and he hasn't said any. He finally changed his bio. His bio, like for 3 weeks, still said like Worldwide Studios chairman. He finally changed that to just be like, it says like citizen and like games hobbyist. It's like, like I want to know, like Sean, if you're listening and you want to come on the podcast, like I will gladly have a conversation with you about this.
About what happened?
Because I want to know. It definitely seems like a internal kind of conflict. I think you know, the CEO and president
quietly pushed out.
Yeah, the CEO and president of PlayStation, Jim Ryan, and he has even said, like, I have bold new ideas for where I want to take the PlayStation brand and where I want to take PlayStation 5. And there's a lot of restructuring going on. And I think, you know, PlayStation 5 is going to go big or go home, I think. So.
I hope it goes big.
It's cool. It's cool to see, you know, this Herman Hulst. I keep wanting to say
one of those words.
Hellman Hulst. But
Hellman's mayonnaise.
Dude, don't get me started about Hellman's mayonnaise. Mayonnaise happens to be my favorite food, and
please no, Michael.
And
please.
And specifically Hellman's. There's no listen.
No.
Sidebar. There's no better feeling than getting a brand new jar of Hellman's mayonnaise, because fuck every other brand of mayonnaise. They can all go fuck themselves.
Have you tried Duke's?
There's nothing better than opening a brand new jar of Hellman's mayonnaise, and you open it up, and you stick your knife in, and it makes that like sound, like for the first time, and it's like fresh. It's like, oh, dude, mayonnaise. I love mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is truly my favorite food.
Please tell me, have you tried Duke's?
No. Fuck every other brand of mayonnaise
that's
not Hellman's.
Given it a try. Dude, Hellman's is good. I'm not lying, but you have to at least give Duke's a try. It may change you.
Mayonnaise is Hellman's. Like,
then mayonnaise isn't your favorite food. Hellman's mayonnaise is your favorite food.
No, I mean Hellman's.
Don't front.
That's the only mayonnaise that exists. Is Hellman's mayonnaise. They're one and the same.
I'm a little worried about your mayonnaise obsession, Michael. But also now I kind of want some mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise is very good. So Herman Hulst. He comes from Europe. You know, Guerrilla Games is a European studio.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I think this is exciting. It's kind of sad to see Shuhei leave, but luckily he's not leaving the company, because Shuhei is definitely like a big face at Sony, and for Sony he's very active on Twitter and stuff, and he's it's funny, he's a very like funny, charming guy in public, but I was watching the documentary called Raising Kratos, where they talk about it's mostly like Corey Barlog talking about the creation of God of War 2018. God of War. Right. And he's like, there's footage of like Shuhei visiting while they're in development, and he does not look happy. Oh God. And like Corey's talking, he's like, yeah, Shuhei came by today, and fuck, he was like not happy. It's like Shuhei's like such a nice guy. Like I can't imagine him not being happy. It's like
they must have messed up.
That must be scary, but. Yeah, it's cool. It'll be cool to see what he does with this new indie initiative. It'll be cool to see what comes from that. I'm trying to think. I wonder if I can name all 14 of their first party studios. I don't know if I could. 14 seems like a lot. Let's see.
Well, that would be, if you can name one, that would be one more than I can.
Well, okay, so they've got Naughty Dog.
Okay.
I'm sure you know them.
Yep, I do. Yeah.
Sony. There's Sony Santa Monica. They make the God of War games.
Mm-hmm.
There's Polyphony. They make Gran Turismo. There's Sony San Diego. They make MLB The Show. If you don't know, MLB The Show is PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, I think did you talk about this on the podcast, or were we talking about that on stream? That came up at some point.
I talked about how The Show is actually a very good video game.
Okay.
It has like RPG elements and shit. It's really cool. There's obviously Guerrilla Games. There's Insomniac now. They're the newest edition. There's Sucker Punch. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Halfway there. Shoot. Oh, there's Japan Studio. They make they help with games, so they helped with like Last Guardian. They helped with Bloodborne, and they also made Gravity Rush 1 and 2. That's 8. Oh. I don't know if I can name all 14. That seems like a lot. They don't own Housemark, I don't believe.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Housemark is the one that makes Resogun.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those other like arcadey games, which are really, really good. Sony internal. I might have to look some of these up. I don't know that I know all 14. There's probably some smaller ones that I cannot think of. I got 8. Yeah, I can't think of any other ones. Let's see. Oh, Sony Bend. God damn it. I was thinking about them earlier. Sony Bend. Sony Bend made SOCOM, and they just recently made what's that game called? Gone Home? Not Gone Home. Days Gone. Jesus.
There you go. You got it.
London Studio. Okay. They make some VR games. Media Molecule, of course. Can't believe I forgot about them. Manchester Studio, which I'm not sure what they make. Pixel Poyas. They made Concrete Genie most recently.
Okay.
So they make kind of smaller indie games. Polyphony said those. San Diego said those. And San Mateo. Which I'm not sure what they make. What do they make? Oh, it looks like they mostly help with games.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Yeah, they help with like
there's all 14.
Yeah, there's all 14. I knew 8 of them. I can't believe I didn't get Media Molecule or Sony Bend. I was just thinking about Sony Bend, but there's that. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they come up with. But with that, that's all I got. I don't know if you have any news that you would like to discuss or bring up.
You think I know things? Nope. That's all I got.
That's all you got. That is all you got. Well, Luke, why don't you... We'll spend some time shilling. How about that?
Sure.
Why don't you tell people where they can find you, what you're going to be playing, what upcoming games you're going to be playing, stuff like that.
Sure. So, my name is Luke. I am a streamer on Twitch TV, as probably everyone who's listening to the podcast already knows. My Twitch is twitch.tv/SuperYeetGaming.
Mm-hmm.
That is SuperYeetGaming.
Legally distinct.
Gaming. Huh?
Legally distinct.
Yes, legally distinct from Michael Flanagan's channel. SuperHypeGaming.
Yeah. For a bit, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess technically now it's not spooky. I'm like having withdrawals, man. I miss Spooky Hype so much.
I have plans to do it again, and I think next year will be probably even worse. So.
And by the way, congratulations on the charity stream. That was awesome, man.
Yeah, that was really fun. Obviously, Extra Life. Thank you to coming out. You were the MVP of that stream.
That was a lot of fun. That was a fun day hanging out with you.
Yeah, I like that stream actually didn't kill me because it was on a Saturday.
Yeah.
But that stream was definitely a lot of fun. I wanna do something like that again. It was really, really cool.
Good. But yeah, for actual shilling, it is not Super Yeet Gaming. I'm Bluechromed, BLUECHROMED, at Twitch. I also Michael, I don't know if I told you, but I was able to get my actual Twitter handle back.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm no longer Bluechromed1. It's Bluechromed. So now you can @ me at Bluechromed.
There's definitely something that was lost with the Bluechromed one. I will miss it, but I'm glad. I'm glad that you're on brand now.
Yes. Yeah. That's and Discord. I don't know how to shill Discord, but you should definitely join my Discord. It's great.
How do you shill Discord like on a podcast? Dude. I was trying to think about this earlier.
Well, if you have a unique link, you can set your channel to have a unique link. I think if you're a premium customer, and from there you can give it out. You could be like, my Discord, the name of my Discord is Blue Zone, and then when they type in discord.gg/bluezone, it would take you to the Discord.
Okay. Do that.
But, yes. Do that. But also, games I'm playing, I'm going to be picking up Sword and Shield starting this Friday. Probably going to play some Crash Bandicoot this week, as well as some more shiny hunting in Pokemon Let's Go. I am going to be gone in the next month. I'm gone for 2 weeks. So I'm going to be in DC on a business trip starting next week. So I'm going to miss the entire first week of streaming Sword and Shield. Unfortunately, that's like the worst time to miss.
Yeah.
And then the first week of December, I'll be in Texas for another business trip for the whole week.
Make sure you get some strands in.
Yeah, get some strands in.
Deliver some cargo to those places and
exactly
make connections and reconnect America, please.
Yeah, so main games are going to be Shiny Hunting and Let's Go, a lot of Sword and Shield gameplay. I've got a really cool overlay that an awesome artist, I'm going to show somebody else, named Cindy the Deer. Her Twitch page is twitch.tv/Cindy, CINDY, the Deer. Go check out her overlays and stuff. She's making one for me. She's been fantastic to work with, and her art style is awesome. So I have one coming for Sword and Shield specifically, but yeah, that's most of what I'm going to be doing in November, and then in December I'll be picking up Dark Souls 1 and doing my very first playthrough of that on stream.
I'm looking forward to that.
Good.
I'm looking forward
what
to
about
that.
You, man?
So I am obviously SuperHypeGaming on Twitch. I'm changing up the schedule for the remainder of the year. I'm going to be mostly streaming on Fridays and Saturdays. No more weekly streams, at least for now, just because I have a lot of stuff going on. I have a lot of projects and things to do. So this Friday and Saturday, I'm going to be playing MGS2. We're going to be continuing with that series, which I'm really looking forward to. MGS1 is honestly one of my favorite streams that I've done, because a lot of cool people came by and really made that stream. They made it so that I played that game and had just like the most possible fun, you know? They like kind of alleviated a lot of the butthurt moments in that game, but like still kept it to where I was like not just being like guided and had my handheld. So I'm looking forward to that. I know Hibari is looking forward to me playing that game as well. So that'll be fun. Lots of Kojima games for me recently. My Twitter account is, surprise, SuperHypeGaming, at SuperHypeGaming. Definitely follow me there. My Twitter account.
Wait, I thought it was Red Chromed.
Yeah, that's my that's just the Twitter account that I used to antagonize you with. It was me the whole time. At SuperHypeGaming, my Twitter account, I say this every time, my Twitter account is my best content. It's better than any of my streams. So go check me out there. What else? I know I have
catch Michael at the Laugh Shack on Monday.
Yeah, if you're in Atlanta, if you happen to be in Atlanta, Monday the 18th, I will be performing stand-up at the Laughing Skull Lounge, which is a really cool place. I've been there before. It's a really cool place to do stand-up. So if you go, come say hello. I'm sure nobody in Atlanta listens to this shitty-ass podcast. But if you say hello, I will definitely be surprised. And I don't know.
I'll see you there.
Give you a hug or some shit. Let's see. I want to open things up a little bit on the podcast. So if you have any questions that you want me to read on the podcast, if you have things you want me to discuss or answer, you can send me an email at SuperHypeGaming SuperHypeGaming@gmail.com. That is SuperHypeGaming@gmail.com. Send me your questions. Send me your pornographic images.
Beautiful.
And you can also post that. I have a podcast channel in my Discord. My Discord is SuperHypeGaming. You can post questions there, and I'll start reading that stuff on the podcast if I so choose. So with that, I think all the shilling is out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
We are gonna wrap up the podcast.
Hold on. With what?
I'm gonna ask you how you think you did with your SAT prep.
I did great. I did it once, and you did it once, and it was both pretty well used.
So I actually countered you. So your use of the word was nullified by my counter.
I hate you, Michael. I hate you.
So unfortunately, you will fail SAT prep this week.
I hate you so much, Michael.
I don't know why you hate me. I mean, if you just stick to the rules, you can win SAT prep. It's a very simple game. It's very easy.
I knew you were going to do this.
What do you mean you knew I was going to? All you got to do is stick to the rules. So unfortunately, you failed SAT prep this week.
No!
So we are going to end the podcast on you reading a hokey video game quote. And again, I get all these quotes from randomvgquotes.com. All these quotes come from random games. So I'm going to post this in show chat. Thank you guys for coming by. Thank you, Luke, for joining me again this week. You're always a great guest. I appreciate it very much.
Always a pleasure.
So I'm going to let you take it away with this random, again, it's completely random video game quote.
Oh my God, please no. This is so bad. Whatever. At any rate, it's been a whole year since we last met. How about a kiss from your little brother? Or better yet, how about a kiss from this? And then I pull out a gun.
Nothing compares to new Nickelodeon Moon Shoes.
Not so fast. You don't know what you're missing until you've tried Sponge Shoes.
There's nothing like Moon Shoes.
Hey kids, how about Cement Shoes? Jump! Jump!
Moon Shoes!
Invisible Shoes!
New Moon Shoes. They're like kid-powered trampolines for your feet. Look for them at a store near you.
Nickelodeon Moon Shoes. There's nothing like them.
By heart.